Okay, we fired it up live again. This thing goes not live on my profile, but sometimes that takes a few minutes to get it on my phone. Oh, nope, we're not getting it on my phone either. But it is live on my phone. We are live on my phone. So come back. We're live on my phone and see if I can get Randy to come back. And we'll go now. We are live on my phone. We're not live on my profile. On one Android device, going live on my profile on the other. You should be able to come to that on my profile. Looks like I turned the volume down so it doesn't feedback. You should be able to come into the live chat on my profile because it does in fact show that we're live. When you come to my profile, what you will have to do is you'll see the red and white live ring around my profile picture of the skeleton, and uh, and yeah, you'll see the live ring on my profile that will bring you into the live chat. And that is the best thing I can do. So come to the Dave Logan profile. If you see the red and white live ring around my profile, tap on that, and it will bring you into the live chat. That's the best thing I can do. Let me cut back to Messenger and get Randy, and bring Randy back in here. Got a lot of modern technology. Got a lot of modern technology. I love modern technology. And, we're gonna have to figure out who. Hold on just a second. I gotta send Randy a link. He might not be. We'll find out. Oh, Randy's here. Okay. All right, we're back. I don't know what I
I
don't know
do
what
see the
happened.
button there, so that's
Right,
good.
right. I don't want to dwell on it, but if you get to my
Yep.
profile and
So,
you don't see
so
us
let's
live,
start over.
right. If you get to my profile and you don't see us live, if it says live with a red and white ring around the profile picture, tap that, and that will bring you into the live chat. And then when I get done with the broadcast, I will get on the horn with Restream and try to figure it out. And if we're not going to be able to get it figured out with Restream, maybe we'll look around and go to EV Max. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I like that.
I'm just
Jerry seemed like it as
I'm
well.
just, I'm just,
Anyways,
I'm just right. Anyway,
let's start.
it's
Let's
Boogie
start
with the
over.
Bull, Wednesday morning caffeine. Wednesday morning caffeine. I'm Dave Logan. Randy Rhodes is with us. A lot of things to talk about this morning. If you didn't see, Randy wants to discuss California, the wildfires. Then we may move around on a bunch of things like we always do. And at some point today, we will get into a conversation about Facebook and their claim that they're going to stop fact checking and return freedom for all. So, as we tried to do in what we thought was a live broadcast, let's talk about
Yep.
California and the
Yep.
wildfires, Randy.
So, you would think. I mean, this is just me. You would think that every year, if you have a state that you are in charge of, the protection of the people who live inside that state, you would think that if every year you experience fires that destroys thousands of acres of land, killing all the poor little animals, the bunnies and the squirrels and the deer and whatever else that might be in the woods, destroying all these people's homes, their businesses, and even killing them, you would think that you would do something about it. But you're more so damn concerned about the damn illegals living in these expensive hotels than you are about the citizens who are paying the damn taxes. So, once again, I don't know how it started. You have these fires raging in the Palisades of California. And these homes are multi-million dollar homes. These are not these cheap, you know, cardboard boxes or, mobile home kind of things. These are multi-million dollar houses that people obviously pay a lot of taxes to keep your butt in office. Then what happens? The fire starts, it rages, the wind picks up the embers, driving the fire even further, and then you run out of water. How in the hell can you run out of water when your state borders a damn ocean? You take the advice of those who know, you run pipes to the damn ocean and you pump the water. Oh, but that makes too much sense. So, I saw videos, I saw images of these fires. People are trying to leave. They get out on the highway. They get surrounded by the fire. They get out on foot, thinking they can run on foot to the ocean to where they can stay in the water until they are rescued. Or they're staying inside their houses, thinking that their water hose is going to keep their house safe until you realize you waited too long. And here you are, and you got a video of yourself and your damn doggy, and your house is surrounded in flames. People, you need to get new leadership for the state of California. Someone who knows what the hell they're doing. I don't know, maybe like a Trump Jr. or someone like that. But to have this happen every year makes absolutely no sense. What do you think, Dave?
I think they need to bring back Republicans. Who, who in California? I don't know. Maybe Schwarzenegger.
Well, he was a
Uh,
Democrat, wasn't he?
but some, no, he's a
Well,
Republican.
he didn't like Trump.
I don't know. I don't know. But we need,
Wasn't Reagan governor of California?
Reagan was governor of California twice, and yes, he was a Republican.
Yeah,
He was a
we
Republican
need someone like
governor.
Reagan back in California's governor's mansion. Um, but something has to be done. These people got I don't know. You would think if I'm paying that kind of money and my leadership keeps doing stupid shit, it's just time to get new leadership. Or don't you think so?
I do think so. I'm looking, and it says we are live. I don't know if we are or
Yeah,
not,
we
but
are.
they have to come
I
to
see
my
us.
they have to come to my profile and tap the word live. It's not actually
Yeah,
there. It
I
says
see us.
post. Yeah, yeah. I don't see a post, but I do see the red live ring that says we are live. I sent shares out. Uh, I did send shares out, and hopefully people will get here. Uh, Modern technology is just becoming a royal pain
Okay.
in
So
the
so so
in the
so in the
behind.
previous when we thought we were live, we talked about California. Then we went to talk about
Right.
the lady on the New York subway. So I was saying about if you're not being
Yep.
stabbed, if you're not being strangled, if you're not dying, if you're not being robbed, not being pushed in front of a subway. I had to see this damn video of this Spanish woman. I assume she's Spanish because she spoke Hispanic, but I guess she held on to it too long, and she had to pee. So when the doors open to let people out, she hung on to the open doorway, pulled down her pants, and she peed right there in front of everybody. Uh, and then she pulled her pants back up, and she sat down like nothing ever happened. I'm sorry, that's just filthy. Okay.
It is, and it is, and if they had transit police on the or subway police down there, they should have arrested the lady. I don't care what party she is. They should have arrested the lady and brought her before a judge. And I don't know what happens. Maybe the judge says, "Here's a bucket and a shovel, and you go and a spray
You
bottle, and you
clean that
go around
subway car. Yeah, there you go.
and you yeah,
And
you clean that
not
stuff
that
up.
jerk subway car. You clean all the subway cars for being filthy.
Yeah,
Um,
you know, I just I don't understand where people think that it's okay. But then again, have to admit I was in Boston one day and I couldn't. I drove around for 45 minutes trying to find a place to park to run into a red line station and got me out of view from the main drag, but I did a tap on the shoulder, and it turned out to be a Boston police officer that I knew who said, "I'm not going to arrest you, but it is against the law." And I said, "Well, what about the Americans with Civil Disabilities Act and disabilities and this and that?" And he said, "No, that still doesn't cut it. But you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. You're not going to say anything. Just don't do it again."
you know,
We all have that time when you see you pass a construction site, you see the porta potty, and you
yeah.
fly over there hoping that you can use that it's unlocked and you can use it. But no, it is against the law. It's considered a biohazard because it is.
My
But
daughter worked in a few years back. She worked in retail in this shopping center, and she was talking to this one other lady who worked in a different store, and she said, "This lady told my daughter, can you believe this woman ran into our store, and she hid behind these racks of clothing, took a major dump right there on the floor." Used her brand new clothing to clean herself, and then she walked out like nothing happened. People,
yep. All right, Regina says that she likes your flags today, and I just want to say that is the comment of the day because I'm very glad to see the flags back. But Randy has more than one studio at the All Roads Lead to Home Communication Center, so he's in the flag studio today, which I think he should be in all the
say like
time.
my flags now. So
And
here, so
Uh, Regina also Regina also says that FB just said I can't use like buttons due to spam on here. WTF? So I don't really know uh, if if they are taking out the fact check system and going to implement the community notes system. It's going to take a couple of days. It's just not going to happen overnight. I don't really want to get into that discussion right now, but if you're thinking about doing your business in a subway station, don't. Think about doing your business on the street of San Francisco, don't. Thinking about doing your business outside anywhere, really don't. But if you're going to, go find a place away from people and away from everybody else. If that's what you're going to do, you go do it. Like I said, I used to look for construction sites because where I was, there were always construction sites. And there were always a porta potty, and 9 out of 10 times, if I pulled up in the Mercedes that I was driving and went into the porta potty, maybe one of the guys working would yell down, "You can't use that," and I'd go, "Okay." And I'd just jump in my Mercedes and take off again, figuring that they figured that I was somehow affiliated with whatever they
oh
were doing.
my,
But
Regina, I'm so
yeah,
sorry to tell you, but um, your can we get to it? Fifth great grand uncle was a traitor to the colonial army. He actually fought for the British. I am so sorry, Regina. You're a traitor.
That's okay. That's okay. I like Regina. She can still do believe in the old broadcasts,
Yeah.
and she's one of your she's one of your customers or former customers, so she can still come on and do believe in the old broadcast
And
whenever
here's documentation.
whenever we
Here's
want to bring her on.
documentation that her fifth great grand uncle was demanding to be paid for his services for his time. He was a soldier in the first battalion of the King's Regiment of New York in 1783, and he is demanding that he gets paid for his services.
Well, the king paid for both sides of the Revolutionary War anyway, so why didn't everyone on both sides get paid?
Yeah.
Which is what I don't understand. King Edward, I think it was, or George, or something, whoever, evidently paid for both sides of the Revolutionary War, which I never understood. Why would the leader of one country pay for the war on both sides? Either way he was going to remain the king.
Yeah.
Liz Baker is watching. Regina Bussier is watching. Bussier. Regina Bussier is watching. I'm
I
watching.
hope I'm
Randy is
watching.
watching. David Navarre was watching. You do have to come to the Dave Golovin profile, and if you see the red and white ring that says live around my profile picture, tap that. If you see the post, then tap that and come in that way. It's getting to a point where I'm going to have to talk to technology companies involved and David Navarre and try to see if we can figure out what this problem is. This tablet, the Android 10 tablet, is well beyond its ability to use Facebook properly. So it could very well be that
Hey,
I have to cut the Facebook light on it, or just
so
not use
so
it
so Regina,
anymore.
you and Dave also share something in common. Uh, your fifth great grand uncle, his
Oh,
family was Jewish.
oh, is he related to my fifth
Uh,
my fifth great grand
I don't know.
uncle or
I'll have to
grandfather,
fall.
whatever
I'll have to
you
see.
just said?
I'll have to see if there's some Castleman in your background. But yeah,
You haven't found
not yet.
anybody
We're working
famous
on
on
it.
mine, like Clint Eastwood, or well, I know I'm related to Joseph Tomars, who was a Jewish Russian opera singer. I don't remember the exact years of him. He was, and if you evidently go to YouTube, I believe you can find some videos of his music. Uh, but,
So okay, so let's talk about
uh,
Trump's.
most of my relatives deny that they're related to me
So
anyway.
let's talk about Trump's news conference yesterday. The thing was like 2 hours.
Okay,
It's going to be a good, from my standpoint, it's going to be a good conversation. It's going to be a bad
no, that's
conversation.
okay.
Um, the
Sure, no, I'll try to be.
Okay,
It'll
yeah,
be
behave.
hard, but
So
I'll try
so
to
yes.
do it.
Now I'll smack upside the head. So look. He was talking off the teleprompter, so he wasn't using teleprompter, which is not a good thing for him. But anyways, he started to ramble, and which is not it's not a good sign
Who,
for him because it makes it sound like he's uh, uh has some men has some no
Mr.
Trump.
Biden or
He
Mr.
started to
Trump?
ramble
Okay,
like I am
okay.
right now, but so he was talking about this, that, and other thing, and he started talking about some things that he's going to plan to do once he's in office. So here's his grandiose plans. First, he is going to make Canada the 51st state, and the reason why is that it is costing the United States way too much money to continue things as they are right now with Canada. He says costing billions of dollars to maintain the relationship. He said we really don't get anything from Canada. Obviously, we have some trade with milk and cars and things like that, but we don't need your milk. We don't need your cars, but you're costing us billions of dollars.
Well,
So why don't we just make you
yeah,
a new state? And that's what.
but by that same token, if Ford is only building a car in Canada and they want to sell it in the United States, they have to bring it in here. But by the same token, if Toyota is only selling, or Japan actually, if Japan is only selling, building a car in Japan and not here in the United States, and they want to sell it here in the United States, they have to pay to bring it in here. So are we going to take Japan and make them the
Well, I don't know
52nd
about that,
state?
but he was saying that it's just costing too much money, and it makes no sense financially to continue. He said you don't really have a military. We're protecting you. He said the border between our countries is invisible. There's nothing there. So the reporter's asking, well, how are you going to do this? And he said, well, he said, we're going to use economic pressure, where we're going to tax the shit out of Canada. Not his words, my words. Um, our possible military, and I can see the economic pressure being a good determination to make them our state, but to go to the war to Canada, I would have to think that England would say something about that.
Maybe if they want to take Quebec back, and the French, as far as taking back French Canada, which I think it's Quebec, so excuse me. But like I said in the green room and the failed attempts to be live this morning, the biggest problem I have with it is that based on the population of the country of Canada, the state of Canada will have the largest electoral college vote, and meaning that they could control the election for a very long time. And and if anything, I could see blue states banding together to become one blue state that might have more electoral college votes, more representatives than Canada. I just don't see it working. I mean, I think President Trump thinks that he can threaten Ford, who may be building a car in Canada that they're not building in the United States, and say, no, you're not going to be able to sell that car in the United States unless you build it in the United States. And Ford is going to say, you know what? You won't sell it in the United States. They took cars to Mexico that they were building in the United States and went to Mexico, and it wasn't for any other reason than that was their plan, and they're making money, and they run they run the company. But I think what you're hearing from Biden and what you're hearing from Trump is a lot of things that the president can't do or shouldn't be able to do.
But I would have to think that if his intention is to make Canada uh, a state, why would he not then also go after Mexico?
Because because if the people of Canada don't want it, and the new prime minister of Canada doesn't support it, and the new president
Well,
of Mexico doesn't support it,
see, that
we're in the middle of one hell of a war, the
See that
way I
that was
see
the
it.
other thing. He said they mentioned about the new governorship. He said, "Oh, I don't think he's going to be governor. I think," and he mentioned the guy's name, and I can't,
Well, he's not going to be. Well,
uh,
true.
can't.
You know, Justine Castro is not
Well,
going
no,
to
no,
be.
no,
He
no, no.
resigned
But the replacement. Um, uh, Trump said that the replacement that they're thinking of being a new governor won't be. There's going to be this other guy. He's putting his weight behind this other guy. I can't think of his name, and I could swear it sounded like a football player's name, or some kind of athletic guy, but uh, he believes this other guy is going to become the new governor of Canada, and he said because Trump's in conversation with this guy from Canada, and the guy in Canada said, "Well, what would my title be?" And he said, "Oh, I don't know. I think governor sounds pretty good." So, I mean, uh, Trump could be, pushing one way
So
or the other to get this guy in, so he agrees to become a new state.
it's the state legislature, it's the voters of the state. Donald, I don't believe that the president can just walk in, make Canada the 51st state because I want it to be the 51st state. Write a check and buy Greenland because I want to buy Greenland. The he doesn't he can't do either by executive order, and even if he could, when J.D. Vance becomes president in 2028 or a Democrat becomes president in 2028, it's going to be undone. I think realistically, what needs to happen is a president can say anything they want to do, but they need to understand and read the presidential rule book that says what you can and what you can't do. And unfortunately for the president, it's determined by the House, approved by the Senate, and then it goes, I believe it goes into law. I don't know if the president actually has to sign it, but well,
Anyways,
they'd override it without a president, without a presidential
anyway,
seal.
it
But
made for good conversation, and
it does make for good
then
conversation. But
Trump
it's
also
just
said about getting the hostages back. So he had the guy there who's the
well,
chief
right.
negotiator for the hostages, and he said to him in front of the reporters, "Here are your marching orders. You will get those hostages back before the 20th, or all hell is going to break loose." And the reporter said, "What do you mean by all hell is going to break loose?" He said, "Well, you'll have to wait and see. All hell is going to
Well,
break loose."
but who? But all hell is going to break loose with who?
Well, it has to
Because
be Hamas,
technically,
whoever has the
well,
hostages.
but remember, technically, Donald John Trump is not the
Right.
president of the United States until he's sworn in on the 20th.
This
So if the Biden administration takes Trump before the Supreme Court, what does Trump say to the Supreme Court when John Roberts asks him, "Were you the president at the time you gave
Yeah,
this
well, but
order?"
at this point, can we even say that Biden's even president of the United States?
But that, but that's not the point. If Biden could be removed by a simple impeachment in the in the House of Representatives that goes to the Senate, which is Democrat majority, and they sign it, and then it goes to Biden, and he's out. The only problem in doing that is Kamala Harris becomes the president.
Yeah, nobody really wants her either.
There, there, there's nothing there that says if your president is thrown out for any reason before
I mean,
January 20th, the president elect
okay,
takes over. This is
all
why.
hell breaks loose doesn't necessarily mean an American response. How about if Trump says to the leadership of Israel, "You have my blessing to blow
Well,
them away," and
I believe Netanyahu is going to basically call up Trump and say thank you, but realistically, Don, understand, as much as we know you like Israel and Israel likes you, we don't need your authority to tell us what we can and can't do in this war.
well, no, but he's going to need the blessings after the fact and the support in case they, depending on what actions have won. But either way, he made a grandiose comment. Let's see what happens between now and the 20th. He also mentioned about taking control of Greenland. That he says that Greenland is a huge um, uh, uh, militarily. What's the word he used? That Greenland is very important to the United States from a military standpoint, and that he feels that it's to be part of the United States. That right now, that no one really cares about them. Uh, we protect them. We give them all this money. So let's make them a territory of the United States. So that's what he's also going after Greenland. He when he started talking about all this stuff, Dave, he started to remind me of Putin. What Putin's trying to do.
Well, well, right. But again, you have to remember that just because a president says this is what I want to do doesn't necessarily mean the Speaker of the House is going to let him do it. Remember, Nancy Pelosi, as Speaker, told Biden several times, you cannot forgive student loan debt. I don't care what you want to do, how you want to do it, what bill you think you can attach it to. You cannot do it because you don't have the authority, number one. I do because I signed the check.
We remember the Democrats were saying that they're so concerned about Trump becoming a dictator. He's starting to sound a little bit like he wants to get control of the Panama Canal back. He wants to change the name
Well,
of the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America.
okay, but getting control of the Panama Canal back, if it's not being used the way we think it should be used because we built it, and we agreed at some point to give it back to them. But if it's not being used the way that it should be used to cut shipping times down for the benefit of the world, then
Well, Trump's argument was that Carter paid sold it to them for $1, and that the United States uh, is paying more than any other nation to allow our ships, commercial or military ships, to flow through the Panama Canal. And he obviously sees that as a smack in our face. He said, "We built it." He
right,
said, 35,000 people who died for it. He said, and we're the ones paying more money than any other country to allow our ships to flow through it. He said, that's enough. He's
right,
done with it.
right. Well, that should be discussed. We built it. Who cares how much how much Jimmy Carter sold it to you for? There should have been an understanding that we get to use it for life, and we're not going to get raped by the amount of money that you're going to charge us to go through it.
Well, what we should have done was, okay, we'll sell it to you for $1, but all American commerce flows
Yeah.
through there for free.
Well, that or whatever they agree on a rate because of course they agreed to have it built because they were going to make a boatload of money off of it each time boats go through it.
Yeah.
Otherwise they wouldn't have agreed to it. But like I said, and like you just said, presidents sounding like dictators. They they can say just about anything they want, but the rule book says you don't make that decision. The House of Representatives does, and then they send it to the Senate, and the Senate either approves it or doesn't approve it. And if they approve it, then we send it up to you. And if you veto it, then we, as the House and Senate, can override it with override votes that override your veto, and we're going to do it anyway.
Well,
That
I
that but that's part of the three-tier, you know, three branches of government, so that one branch of government doesn't take
see,
over
see,
and become dictator.
somehow I think there's something. Trump, I think, is coming back with more influence and more power than he had before. Because
Right.
when they had their election for the Speaker of the House, and there was two people who had not made their decision, and Trump called and spoke to those two people on the phone, and the next thing you know, oh, they're voting for this guy. Um,
Well, I'm sure every other president has done that before. Democrats called
Yeah,
Democrats
I know.
to Alaska and just said, hey, here's the deal if you vote
I just
for me.
think
And then the question there should be whether or not. Let me finish. The question there should be whether or not that's election interference,
uh,
regardless of who the president is, who the candidate is that called anybody. Is that election interference?
I just think he's coming back and he has more influence over. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, right now we have more in Congress and Senate, so we have control of both houses. So I think Trump's going to do very well this time around. So it's okay. So we talked about the Canada, we talked about Greenland, we talked about the Gulf of Mexico is going to be called the Gulf of
I
America
don't, I don't, I don't think that's going to happen, but he
because
could
he
try
thinks
it.
that there's more territory involved than Mexico. Um, and it's like other people are saying. I mean, I've been reading reports from different news programs, and they seem to be siding with Trump. One article I read said that, well, different countries, apply different names to different things. He said it's possible that he
If
could just say, you know what, from now on, this is going to
if
be called the Gulf of America.
if if we claimed the Gulf of Mexico and went to war, because I don't believe Mexico has a navy, so if we went to war with Mexico in a naval battle to win the Gulf of Mexico and make it the Gulf of America, and claim that the reason that we did it is because then we can put our Coast Guard and our Navy in there to protect, to to patrol it and protect the United States of America. Maybe maybe Congress will buy it, but I honestly don't. I honestly don't believe. I honestly don't believe
I
they
mean,
will.
I mean, all we
Uh,
need is to park a carrier group off the Gulf of Mexico, and Mexico will say, "Sure, yeah, it's all yours. Take it. We don't want it anymore. You can have it."
I'm I'm not for Mexico, Regina. I'm just saying that you know Donald John Trump, as president of the United States, can say anything he wants. Some things, yeah, I will agree with 100%. Some things I won't, because honestly, just because the president of the United States says we should invade Greenland and take it over because it's oil rich and jet and mineral rich and everything else isn't necessarily the reason. We should make Canada the 51st state just because of the amount of money that we're spending on Canada. We're not spending tariffs. If Canada is importing things into the United States, they have to pay us.
Right, but
And if they're charging us tariffs on goods that we want to bring into Canada, then maybe we need to look at, maybe the better thing is to keep those goods in this country and support Americans. Because obviously, if Canada is charging really high tariffs on milk and really high tariff on eggs and really high tariffs on gasoline, then if they were going to charge really high tariffs on gasoline, I think Trump and the Prime Minister of Canada, whoever he or she is, need to sit down and have a conversation where Trump says, remember, the purpose of the Keystone XL pipeline was so that you could send oil shale down to Texas refineries in the United States to make a hell of a lot of gas, some of which was going to stay here in the United States and help gas prices go down, and some of it was going to be returned to you as our partner in whatever operation, whatever operation that is. And we're not charging them tariffs on the oil shale that they send here, and they're not charging us tariffs on the gas that we send back to them. It's kind of
yes.
an equal deal.
So the other thing that he talked about in the conference was Biden freezing was it 650 million acres of land from oil and gas exploration. He said that's not going to happen. He said, "No, when I get in, that's the very first thing I'm
Well,
going to do is open that up."
well, again, if Biden did it by executive order, all Trump has to do is rip it up and say, "Hey, Joe, this is not happening." To the best of my knowledge, the only executive order that I know, but I'm sure that there are probably more that no one has talked about. The only executive order that I know that is still in effect from Obama to Trump and Trump to Biden and Biden to Trump is Biden's net neutrality, which gave control, did other things, but part of it was gave control of the internet in the United States to to the FCC. I'm sure there are other executive orders that nobody talks about because they may or may not want us to know about. But the first thing every president does, pretty much, is sit down and look at all of the executive orders of the previous president or presidents, and or knows which ones they're going to rip up. If we have to drill along our coastline, and I'm not saying that we have to, if we have to drill along our coastline to meet our needs, then it falls on the oil companies that are going to be drilling to submit the data, the proof that it is safe for us to do so, or just not do it because the risks are too great. If we can drill maybe here in the United States and and meet our needs, then that is what we should do first. If there are capped wells that Biden capped just because he didn't want us drilling here in the United States anymore, as Nick said, the ones that they can safely remove the cap, harvest the gas that is going to come up, and safely build a rig and drill again, then yeah, that's what we should be doing. The ones uh, that might have been capped with cement so that they would never be used again, then it falls on the oil companies to decide whether or not they want to bear the expense
Okay,
of doing that or drilling another well
okay.
right
Let me
next
ask
to
you a
it.
question. Right now, with Trump being, he will be the president in a few days. When he flies, does he have any type of military escort or anything to protect him from being shot down out of the sky?
I believe two F-16s travel when he goes, and it's restricted. The whole route is restricted airspace, including the airport that he is going to fly into is shut down. I believe once. Well, it's the whole airspace to route is restricted. That he and his military escort are going to be the only planes in that airspace, and that I do believe that the military escort planes actually have been told if you need to shoot something down, then you shoot
Okay,
it
so let
down.
me ask you this then. The reason why I ask is that the his son, Trump Jr., and another gentleman flew to Greenland with the purpose of talking to them about Greenland becoming part of the United States. And
What
he
plane were
he
they
he
on?
fl- they were flying in the Trump plane that had Trump's logo on
That
it.
that's not a military
No,
plane. Trump before he got elected said to the Secret Service and other government agencies that maintain Air Force One, I want to use my plane. I will pay for the use of my plane everywhere it goes. I understand it will have to be outfit with
right,
certain things that the president has on Air Force One. I believe the response from the Secret Service was, no, you can't do that because it's your plane. It's not our plane that we maintain that is is strategically set up for you as president. So you have to use that. Maybe in the future it can be it can be changed. But then again, the cost of putting all of that crap on Trump Force One so that he has it, then taking it off of Trump Force One when he is
Okay,
no
so
longer president. Plus, also, you would imagine that flying over a hostile nation, a blue plane that says Trump in red letters is a big ass target more than a plane that says the
right.
United
So,
States of
that's what I'm
America.
saying. Since his son appears to be doing, you know, making trips and meetings on behalf of him, on behalf of our country.
Right. He's an
Okay,
emissary
okay.
sent on
Well, what
behalf
I'm
of his
saying is,
father.
when Trump Jr. flies, would he also have military escort?
I believe so because I believe it's the same rule that when Air Force One is in the air on official United States business, then they, as long as it's Air Force One, I don't know what escorts the president elect gets on a commercial flight that they are using or their own jet that they're using, or whether or not they have access to Air Force One.
Because
I don't believe they do because again
Yeah,
they're not
because
the
the reason why I
president.
ask is that when they showed video of the Trump plane flying into Greenland and landing, I didn't see any military escort with them.
Well, you don't necessarily have to see them land. Once they're on the ground, they're going to turn around and leave because once they're on the ground, I believe the airport that they come into, if it's a civilian airbase or I mean a civilian airport, that once they're on the ground and they have left that airport, then the airspace, I believe, is returned to normal. I had a problem once where I don't know how we got the call, and it was a legit call. We checked and it was actually legit. Hillary Clinton was flying
Oh my
into
God!
Boston one day. No, I don't know how I got the call. I have no idea how I got the call. Honestly, I have no idea how I got the call, and it was a legit call. I turned it down only because I said, we have one of my largest customers has 18 freaking vehicles at that airport for all kinds of planes landing and taking off that day, and I can't interrupt their travel to to take something that's going to shut down Logan Airport that day. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And you know,
Yes.
the only way I know that they could have gotten a hold of my number is that when George Shultz was Reagan's Secretary of State, he lived behind Stanford University because he taught there. And for the longest time, me or one of the drivers, me or one of these drivers specific, either one of us were the ones that went in and picked up George and drove him home. Then it became the Secret Service would come and pick up the car on Friday and keep it until they were done with it Sunday and bring it back. So maybe somehow that that information was on file with whoever, and someone said, "Hey, call this guy because he's you know that's what he does, and he's approved by us to do it." Hadn't done anything
Yeah, I remember.
since since
I,
that company, since I
Yeah,
left that company.
you talking about your cars just activated a memory cell in my brain. I used to work for a security company called Select Security. First off, it's Commonwealth Security, then became Select
Okay,
Security. But while it was Commonwealth Security, the owner was Patrick Egan, and he was a real pain in the ass. Had more pride than knew to do with, and more grandiose mind. But yeah, he was a hellacious businessman, and he knew what he was doing, and he built this company and made it big. But at some point,
yep.
I'm not sure why, he decided he needed to have a limousine, and he had to have a
Mm-hmm.
bodyguard.
Well,
Again, it was just more show than anything, I think. But the guy was the driver wasn't armed. He was armed, um, and he is a very well built dude too. So he fit the job well. But he had a limousine. He had his bodyguard. I'm not sure if he pissed someone off that he needed to have the extra protection. I don't know.
well, two two Secret Service agents would come in sometime on Friday, and they had the keys to the car, and the dispatcher would know that they were coming in. Usually it was me because I worked third shift anyway when I managed that company, and usually it was me, and they would just, to me, they'd just come in and wave, and I knew that they were taking the car. It wasn't anything special. It was a six-door Cadillac funeral car that George had a liking to, and so that's what he got. It wasn't anything special. I ended up in the middle of a George Bush senior. I don't know, remember if he was president or vice president then. Escort detail going down the highway that I couldn't get out of because my mother had just given me a '76 Lincoln Marquis Colony Park station wagon that was white with the wood trim on the side, and in within his detail they had, I don't know, 5 or 6 of those that all had a red light on the roof. I didn't have a red roof, and they surrounded me, and I couldn't get out of the 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 whole detail going down the highway. So I just sat back and went through it. They must have ran the plate because they called me later and said, "What were you doing there?" I said, "I was going from Northern California to Southern California, and that's the route that I was taking. I had no desire to be involved in your detail." What came out of that was they usually on a important dignitary pickup at the airport, they have state police motorcycles, then maybe one limousine, then state police cruisers and motorcycles, and a second limousine, and a bunch behind. And you go down the highway, and at one point, one of them gets off the highway, and the other one keeps going, and the one that keeps going is usually the VIP in it. They asked me they asked me to do another one when George Bush was in, but be the decoy. So when I got to a certain exit, I just pulled off, and all of the other ones closed up and continued to escort Mr. Bush to where he was going. But I to be honest with you, the only reason I went into the limousine business was I knew I would never be able to afford to ride in one.
Yeah.
And then as I learned, the more and more I had them or had access to them, I didn't like riding in it. I really didn't. I really didn't. I really didn't. I had a town car. In the 8 years that I had, or 4 years that I had my business, I had a black town car, and then I had a Ford Expedition, which I bought from the Massachusetts State Police when they retired it, and got some work from them. Uh, and then, so I like driving my own vehicle. And if I was going out, I'd put a driver in. If I was going out and I was drinking, I would have put one of my drivers in one of those. I really just,
Well, my first car that I bought was a 1974 Ford. Um, Ford.
Crown Vic, retired cruiser,
Say it again.
Crown Vic.
No,
What do you
no, no, no. 1974 Ford.
LTD?
Oh, whatever. Anyways, it was a big ass car.
Yeah,
Sucked up gas like
yeah.
crazy. But my dad worked for Motorola, and they got company cars, and after the company cars got so many miles on it, they got rid of them, or they allowed the employee to buy it. So I bought it for $2,000. It was a good deal. But it was huge. I want to tell you, what, it was a huge car. I was 17 years old. Um, but it was my first car. I was making car payments on it. Uh, but it was great for for date night. The back seat was huge. But um, when I started driving to college back and forth, I went through 3 tanks of gas a week driving back and forth to college. It was, but oh, Ford Galaxy. It was Ford Galaxy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big
Yeah.
boat, big boat, big boat,
So, anyways, I gotta get going. I gotta
big
get
boat.
working on some
All
stuff
right.
here, and I'm
Okay.
freezing
Well,
my ass off. My office is in the back of my house, and it's for
well,
some reason the two
would
rooms
you?
at the back of the house are always the damn coldest, and I'm freezing my ass off here.
What is the red flag with the half moon and the star? To your left. Yeah, that one.
To be honest with you, I have no idea. I'll talk
Okay.
to. I'll ask Tom Vernon. He's the one who gave me the flags. I'll ask
Oh,
him
okay.
what they all represent. They're southern states, obviously.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
know one is North Carolina. Obviously, one is the Confederate
Okay.
flag. Um, but
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Okay. I just kept looking at it. My brain kept going because I have dementia, of course. I'm looking at that and go, why does Randy have a Russian flag in his
Yeah,
office?
it looks more.
Um,
It
um,
looks. But it looks.
unless maybe we were going to talk about Glowinski's and
Well, yeah,
Sapperstones.
actually, looks more like a Turkish flag.
Oh, okay.
But I know it's not
Yeah.
Turkey.
All right. Well, I'm glad we got it. I'm glad we got it figured out somehow. I
Yeah.
still don't understand how, but we got it figured out.
Well, you know what? Hang on a second. Hang on a
Yeah.
second. I'll figure it out. I'll do a Google Lens. Hang on.
No. I wasn't talking about the flag. I'm glad that we got the technology figured out. Uh, my next device, if I ever have a studio area separate, will be a desktop, and the desktop will run the broadcast as opposed to uh, the laptop. Not that that will make any difference, but I can run a continuous loop through
South
Facebook and through
Carolina.
YouTube and through wherever. Okay, South Carolina. But I'm saying I can run a continuous loop before we go live, as other people do on their broadcasts,
So,
and then
holy shit. When you
go
look
in
at
from there.
side by
But
side the Turkish flag, it is almost identical.
okay,
Look at that.
yeah,
Almost
yeah.
identical. Damn. I wonder if they knew that when they decided to make their state flag. Anyways, I gotta go.
Maybe we bought South Carolina from Turkey. All right, Randy, always a
Yep.
pleasure. Hopefully, we'll see you on the American Rebellion tonight. All right, Craig Peterson says it looks like Turkey. You're probably right, Craig. I'm going to read that info, Craig, because I'm curious just to see what defense they have on it, because they did have it when he was. They might have put it on him when he was president. I'm very interested in finding out what they put on it, because, like I said, people say one thing to me one day, and 20 minutes later it's something different. But supposedly, the rumor was President Trump wanted to use Trump Force One, his jet, and cover the expense of doing it out of his personal pocket. I guess he was told he couldn't do that because he had to use Air Force One. But then again, he was told that he couldn't donate. He couldn't donate his check. He couldn't not get a check. I mean, he couldn't. He was told he could do whatever he wanted with his check, but unfortunately, he had to get a check. The rules of the game do say that he does have to get quarterly checks for a total of like $1.6 million, as people as people have said. Yeah, most of what I saw says he is going to have to use Air Force One because it does not have anti-missile systems. Well, that there it is, Craig. And Craig, I trust pretty much 100% of everything you say because you're a smart guy, and most of the stuff that you say is 100% spot on. South Carolina is a blue and has a palm tree. Okay, well, I apologize for that. Randy will find out exactly where it was. In my demented state, I kept looking at it, going, "Why does Randy have a Russian flag in his office on his wall of flags?" And then I joked that maybe he was going to get a hold of me later to go over Gorbinsky genealogy because at one point I was told we came from Prussia, which is Russia and Poland, 10 miles uh, either side of the border at one time, and then it was told that we came from Poland. Then it was told we came from Russia. Uh, you know, so uh, I don't, I don't really know. Not that that matters anyway. If you were able to see the broadcast today on Facebook on my profile, uh, I hope you shared it out. The gigundous problem getting it running. It showed that we were connected to YouTube and my Facebook profile, but I never the monitors. And then some mornings it takes 15 minutes into the broadcast for it to go. One way, like I said, is to just run a continuous loop so that by the time we go live, it's there. And all we do is shut off the loop and start the broadcast. But unfortunately, I don't have the equipment to be able to do that. But anyway, not important to anybody. It is Wednesday, the 8th day of January 2025. For the moment, look up and say, "Hey, Stella," cab driver that I knew in Waltham, Massachusetts for a very long time. Good friend Stella Driscoll Gaines is not with us any longer, passed away from colon cancer. And sad, really nice person. Uh, he's no longer with us. It's Elvis's birthday, and you either believe Elvis is Bob Jones or you don't, or you believe Elvis is someone else, or you just don't believe it. You believe that he's dead, or you believe that he's alive. I really can't tell you. Happy birthday, Anna Lane. It's your birthday, too. And I believe it's Billy Cassidy's birthday. My good friend from Cassidy Coach. You see him on Facebook here all, all the time. I believe it is his birthday. He's a week older. Yeah, it was a week. I know he's 10 years older than me, but I believe his birthday is a week ahead of mine. So it would be his today, tomorrow. I think it's today. Anyway, so happy birthday to him. If you have a January birthday, let me know, and we will wish you a happy birthday anniversary. It's the same special days in your life in January. Let us know, and we will let everybody know as well. 11:54. I got to feed the dog lunch now. The dog and cat. Lola is pretty quiet. She's laying over there. She sleeps pretty much all day. Anyway, sleeps at night. And Delilah is probably buried under the blanket, cleaning her spot on the bed. It's like almost 13-year-old chihuahuas do. Anyway, so again, if you were able to see the broadcast, please share the broadcast everywhere you can. I'm hoping about 15 minutes after I end, Restream will send it to Facebook, and Facebook will post it. Uh, I want to believe, like I said, this is the last time. I want to believe that Facebook is going to stop fact checking, go to a free speech for all system, governed through a community notes system of content moderation, similar to what X has. Uh, it's great if they do that, but I hope they have Facebook members of all levels within Facebook, because there are levels and some get treated better than others. But they got to have bottom feeders like me, as well as the big boys and girls, Bongino, Steve Bannon, Alex Jones, everybody else. It's got to be uh, free and equal access to everybody. And you don't get in trouble for what you say anymore, because that's been the rules for the 15 and a half years that I've been here, not enforced by Facebook that way. Uh, I did say yesterday that if you're a group owner or admin and you have group quality issues under the name Facebook user, you all know that's Facebook deciding that they have found a way to continue to penalize your group anytime they want, for as long as they want. That needs to be the first thing to go. And or just stop using it. I don't care if you keep it, it just needs to be the first thing you don't use anymore. Uh, because that's where the bulk of the fact checking comes in. Then maybe they go after a broadcast because you say something about COVID that they know is true, but they don't want you to say it. You got in trouble. Same with YouTube. Okay, you much trouble as Facebook, but as I said, I honestly can't remember the last time YouTube sent me a violation, although they took a few seconds out of a broadcast, I believe March 22nd, or it was March of 2022. I don't remember exactly. It didn't affect the broadcast anyway, and I agreed to allow them to take it out, because it had been a couple of years since YouTube had ever done anything with me. So, and we rely on YouTube for everywhere that we try to get on without being on Facebook. Right now, we are on Facebook Monday and Wednesday at 10 a.m. Randy Rhodes, usually Chuck Cook and I. Chuck is away for the day and could not be with us Tuesday and Thursday night at 7 p.m. Anybody who wants to join us is more than welcome. Just come into the live chat come into the live chat on my Facebook profile, or come into the live chat on YouTube and ask for a link. We send them out over Facebook Messenger. So if you don't have Facebook Messenger, then I have to figure out another way to get it to you. And we will. Because we want anybody who wants to be on to be on. I believe on Thursday, William Rayfield will be joining us. We ended up not doing a broadcast on Saturday, and he got called into work. Anyway, I believe so he couldn't do it. And invited him to Tuesday, but Tuesday was our son's, I don't know his number, I can't remember, birthday. And we were out for dinner, and a 6:30 reservation would not have had me back here at 7 o'clock. Anyway, like I said, if you can see it on Facebook, please share it on Facebook. If you see it on YouTube, take it from the YouTube channel and share it everywhere you can. We are slowly working with StreetLock. We will get it on StreetLock. There's a couple of different ways we can do it. And I haven't decided which would be the easiest way. One way is just to take it from the YouTube channel and drop it into the StreetLock newsfeed, and you get redirected to YouTube if you're watching it, and you can do it in the YouTube live chat. That does not work everywhere. I believe it works on Truth Social if we post it there. I don't know if it works on Gab if we post it over there. But we subscribe to the Keep It Simple, Stupid system, and that doesn't always work. I thank David Novar for all of the technical support that he gives us all the time. even if I get frustrated and talk loud or angry, and, 10 out of 10 times, it is usually right. But like I said, the Android monitor here is probably just too old for Facebook, or at least the full Facebook, and it just can't handle it. I believe that is what I was told the last time I talked to Facebook, and I just don't want to spend the money on another one. So, anyway, Double B's for Victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is finally going to come to an end. You have been watching Boogie with the Bull Wednesday morning caffeine, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. We now going to have brunch with the dog and the cat, and put something in my stomach too, besides coffee. Everybody go have a great day. David Navar says, great show. David, we hope you all have a great day. Good morning, Brian. I hope you have a great day. Craig Peterson, yep, you're right. No yelling. You're right. No yelling. I have to work on that. I do have to work on that. Sometimes in the heat of the moment when the brain that is dealing with dementia, it's just easy to yell. Because sometimes you just think that's the best way to let it go. And it's not always the best way to let it go. We can do long hours of broadcasts on dementia. I keep offering anybody who is either going through it like I am, or takes care of someone who has it, you're more than welcome to come on. At some point, we will do a broadcast on child psychology, and we will have Dr. Craig Peterson and hopefully his mother, Dr. Marilyn Peterson, if we can get the both of them together. If not, we'll just have Craig. And when his mother sees it, maybe she will want to come on in the future. Really, most of the time, anybody is welcome. Uh, For the 10 a.m. Monday and Wednesday, let me know by 9 a.m. that you want to be on. For the 7 p.m.s on Tuesdays and Thursdays, let me know by 6 p.m. if you can. Otherwise, just come into the live chat and ask for the link. And it's probably 8 out of 10 times that when people ask me, I've actually let them in. And you can work on it. Anyway, I got to go. I got to go. Time to get the bedroom back to its original use. So, Double D's for Victory. This Believe in the World broadcast